Are you okay?
Ready, set, go.
All right, and we should be live. You guys got me?
There you go. There you are. Yep, now I got you.
Yep.
All right. Welcome to our weekly podcast where we discuss everything from anything that we have interest to, primarily covering Star Wars and video games. As usual, let me flip over to the correct thing here. For those of you watching on Kick, and actually let me hit the record button. I am Chalk. That is Doug. And that
What's
is
up? What's
Nye.
up?
Hello.
And again, I am Chuck. And welcome to the podcast, everybody. So, episode 4 of The Acolyte has released, and first impressions, usually we start with Doug. So today we will start with Mr. Nye.
I thought this week's episode was a little interesting. To me, it kind of had that, especially there toward the end of it, it kind of had that Palpatine taking on the Jedi Council feel to it. The whole trying to force Osha back into the, not really force her, but trying to coax her back into the Jedi to finish her training. I kind of see that going down in future episodes as a possibility.
Doug, how about you?
It was finally like the first episode that I thought was somewhat decent. I mean, there's still a lot of talking going on. Towards the best parts were at the end for sure. You get to watch that final scene, and you're like, okay, now something's gonna happen. It's pretty nice. But other than that, it was still kind of lackluster for myself.
Before we get too crazy on it, did one of you guys share this on Facebook? Because there's people that I know in here. No?
Not me.
All right. That's just the way it goes.
Not this
So-
one. I shared yesterday's stream on Facebook.
I did see that. So the quick recap of what happened was we now get to watch a little bit more of character development between Osha and May, as well as Soul. And they were cruising through, obviously trying to find, May was trying to find the Wookiee. Obviously, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it. It did not end well for the Wookiee Jedi, R.I.P. And we get the first glimpse of the new Sith character much more close. Now, before we get into some of the controversial thoughts, hey, thanks for subscribing. On this particular Sith, anybody, any thoughts on who they are? We'll go with Dubs.
I feel like they're trying to lead you down the path that it's that guy that's traveling with May through the forest there. The one who said he's been through there and knows where he's taken her pretty much. He knows the path. He's the only one that's made it in and out of there. I kind of feel like he went there, took out the Wookiee first, and is leading her back over there.
Yeah,
They're kind of trying to like hide that secretly, kind of a deal.
yeah. Mr. Nye?
That's kind of what I was picking up too. I've kind of thought that pretty much all along that he's the Sith that's training her. They're supposed to be training her, and he's kind of taking her down that, like Doug said, he went in, performed the act of killing the Wookiee Jedi, and he's trying to lead her down that path to get her there, but at the same time, he kind of wants her to not get there, and the Jedi to get there to find him, and then have the confrontation that he's created there at the end. That's kind of how I feel that was trying to play out.
Well, definitely looked like what they were kind of leading to was the Jedi get there. She had stumbled across the body. To me, it almost looked like, one of those, oh, they're dead. You're in the room. We caught you. Doesn't matter what you say because you've done this before. That's what I kind of felt like they were going with it. But how about them? Hey, how about them force powers by the old Sith boy?
That was pretty nice. He yeeted her right across the forest pretty nicely, and then dust stormed the rest of them right out of the way. Spoiler alert again. But yeah, that was definitely one of the best parts of the episode for sure. Getting to see him come do some work.
That was kind of yeah. I mean, it was kind of like I said, it was like the Palpatine scene where he just all of a sudden just starts kicking butt, and he takes out almost the entire Jedi Council there in his chambers. It's like he's got all these Jedi standing there, and he just throws them all across the forest floor.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So going back, I thought the display of force was pretty nice. It was nice to see someone actually kind of come out and dominate, especially the way the first 4 episodes had kind of gone up until that point. It was one of the first episodes where when it ended, I was like, oh, really? Like, episode 1 and episode 2. Episode 1, I fell asleep during. Episode 2 was fine. Episode 3, as we know, we discussed. This episode, I'm watching it, and then it was the credit roll. I'm like, wow, that episode actually seemed like it traveled pretty quick. It moved pretty fast. For me, I was, actually deeply invested in the episode up until that point. I do feel like the kid who's been escorting her around, again, I said it earlier in our first podcast, I do feel like he's still the Sith. It would be surprising if he wasn't. And with, these shows, one thing people don't kind of remember is these shows are made for kids. So much like when you watch an anime like Naruto, and it was revealed who Toby was as an adult, you're like, well, that's obvious, but through a mind of an 8-year-old, that's mind-blowing.
Right.
Now, we can move on to the Jedi Council and some of the things that are happening within that. So, for those who don't know, the Jedi has Jedi Council, and there's several of them, not just the High Council. So this is definitely alluding to a council of some sort. They do refer to escalating this up to the High Council, and they didn't want to. Obviously, there's a weird cameo of Kiad Mundi, which people are mixed on thoughts on that and thoughts of just the whole council, Jedi Council up until this point.
Is there a question in there?
Yeah. thoughts of them bringing Kiad Mundi, who canonically should not be available from the original canon, and the scheme of the current Jedi Council, and not wanting to escalate it up to the High Council.
Yeah, I don't really know much about the timeline, but I did see some stuff online about people talking about that Kiamundi dude wasn't even supposed to be around during those times of events. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. I figured you guys would know more about that than I did.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know much about his species to know if that's actually who that's supposed to be. I didn't think that based off of what
It was credited in the end credits that it was the actor was playing Kiad-Mundi.
right, and I saw that, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't realize that's who that was supposed to be while I was watching the episode, because the way I understood it was anybody from the movies, including High Council, anything like that, was not supposed to be seen throughout this. Like Yoda, Mace Windu, anybody from the Council, Yaddle, any of those people were not supposed to be seen. The way I understood it was presented, it was they're alluded to, but they're not seen. Mace Windu obviously wouldn't be seen because it's beyond his age. But
So to fill you in a little bit of backstory. So there's two different things, and then maybe you guys can discuss a little bit more based upon this. So there's two different problems that are happening right now with this within the canon. The original canon included anything that was extended universe. That was scrapped in 2012 when Disney bought it, and the only thing that was canon up until that point was the original movie, the 6 movies that were released up until that point, and Clone Wars, and then anything that Disney then produced outside of that. So everything prior to did not matter. So one of the big questions that people are having is Kiad-Mundi's age. Kiad-Mundi was supposed to be born in let's see here. It was 93 BBY, and this would not make sense if, and this is where I think a lot of people are kind of getting confused. This would not make sense if this started 100 years before the Phantom Menace. I still am a believer of reading that first crawl when it says the rise of the Empire. The Empire did not rise, regardless of what you say, in Episode 1. There's a very defining moment in Episode 3 when the Empire rises. We can even look, even on the fan websites, the Wikipedia and stuff like that, they talk about the defining moment of the rise of the Empire, either Order 66 or when Palpatine deems himself Chancellor or Emperor, thus the term Empire coming from Emperor. That's why I believe that moment is when the Empire. So if it's 100 years before the Empire, then this would put Kiad-Mundi much of a younger man, if not in the teens. However, he definitely did look older. With that being said, none of the original EU even matters anymore. So his date of birth is not relevant because it's not real. It's fake, right? All of it is fake, but this is non-canon. All that's not canon. So they can make Kiad-Mundi going from a person who aged 120 years and would die naturally to 500 years. It wouldn't matter. They now get to pick how old Kiad-Mundi is. So with the original canon not being valid, we don't know how old Kiad-Mundi is. Does it now make more sense that Kiad-Mundi, who eventually becomes on the High Council, is more of a junior council kind of member, or at least in a role of kind of importance? He was on a hunter squad during Episode 3.
It would definitely make more sense if they're not going to continue with the other one, like you said. If that just doesn't matter anymore, then yeah, they could just make up his age and put him in. Like you said, he looks like a younger guy, but still a guy, older guy, midlife guy, not like an old man like it was in the movies.
And they've made it very clear that the original canon does not matter. Like,
yeah, and that's
with the creation of Ben Solo, that goes with the fact that the original canon did not matter. Because Ben Solo technically was in the original canon, technically 2 to 3 different characters. And correction, Kiad-Mundi was born in 93 BBY. So a lot of people assume that he should not be born. He could not have been born at this time.
Yeah, that was just one of the things that I had also seen online. But again, I didn't know much about the timelines and stuff and how all that worked.
So, depending on how you take it as canon or not canon, it's Wikipedia. It's a fandom-based thing. Wikipedia says Kiad-Mundi was hailed from the planet Kree in 132 BBY. So Battle
Right,
Before
there-
Yavin.
that's
So
because
that would be about
that's with the
Go ahead.
assumption of where they get that assumption is from one of the comics that was released in 2000, and
Right.
that states Ki-Adi-Mundi's there's a small involvement that he is at the age of 16, and that's where they get that particular age, and then it also matches up with where episode 1 is supposed to be in the BBY, because episode
Right.
3 is at the time of the Empire. Episode 3 the Empire is established in 19 BBY.
So it also says Mission to Kawan at some point Monday earned a seat on the High Council in 33 BBY.
Yep.
Monday accompanied the rest of the council on a mission. So it depends on, I mean, this is supposed to be set at a time frame BRE, I guess, before the rise of the Empire. But again, what I was alluding to was the fact that they stated that there was going to be no characters from the prequels
Sure. No, that
in the
is-
series, and then they bring this one in, and that's what, as far as him appearing, birth-wise, time-wise, like you say, canon. They're making up their own canon as they go along.
and they kind of get to.
Yeah, but my upset on it was the fact that they said none of those people will be in there, and yet here they throw one in the middle. Granted, he
Yeah.
wasn't a major player like Yoda, but he is featured. His death and other things on the council and things are seen throughout the first 3 movies.
See, but to me, like there's a lot of fandom that are like super upset by it, and I'm looking at it as like, okay, yes, if it's episode 1, and it's 100 years before episode 1, in the original canon, Ki-Adi-Mundi is born at the same time, so that would not make sense. However, if it's 19 BBY, not 32, Ki-Adi-Mundi could very well be alive and could just be hideously ugly for all that matters, and
Right.
then it would make perfect sense for him to be there. There would be no reason for him not to be. With it being 19 BBY, it actually makes it closer because one of the original fan theories and the fan hopes is whoever this Sith guy currently is, whoever they really are, they're going to be the master of Plagueis, is what they're hoping for. And then Plagueis, as we know, taught Palpatine, who taught Vader. That's what a lot of
Right.
fan theories are. The problem with fan theories is more often than not, they're way better than what actually happened.
Yep.
Right.
I think he was a cool character design. He looks pretty cool, the Sith guy.
Yeah,
I like his helmet.
His helmet's strange, but like, how many more Sith people, how many more dark side users do we need with helmets?
Yeah.
All of them.
As many as you can give me.
Malgus didn't have a helmet until Satine ripped his jaw from his face. And then he needed
I
one.
mean, you know.
Might want to cover that up. Got to cover that up a little bit.
Palpatine didn't have one either.
He did not. And so, but, you know, obviously, Revan did. Malik had a weird earpiece kind of wrap around. And Malgus's master also had a helmet. But, you know, again,
Yeah.
I just look at it as kind of like, oh, you're just putting a helmet on a person because you're making another Vader. It also looked like his saber was kind of unstable. Oh, we've
I
seen
was
that
gonna say he
before.
was giving off Kylo vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
wasn't
like,
going to bring
oh.
that up, but since you did,
But again,
was kinda-
one thing I liked was the like, it was almost in a way, it reminded me of Force Unleashed, that final Force push against all the Jedi, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, I enjoy watching Star Wars that has, you know, fantastic lightsaber fights and fantastic force abilities, and that was cool. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely the bright spot in the episode.
Oh yeah.
I do like the exploration of different force powers and whatnot, because they tell you throughout every section of or every series they come out with, the Force is a living being. It lives within you. It lives without you. It surrounds you. It binds you. So there should be tons of different ways to be able to use that ability. The dark side use it one way. The light side use it one way. And if you want to dabble in the gray Jedi, they use it an entirely different way. So, with all these different Force abilities that keep arising from, like you say, the Force email or Force.
That's right. That's right. Force, yeah. Force DoorDash, dude.
Force DoorDash. And,
yeah. Now, I mean, Plo Koon had his own version of lightning.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's definitely some cool things that would happen. I'd seen this interesting TikTok, and it was, I don't know if you guys had seen it. If the original trilogy came out today, and what I enjoyed about it was like the guy he's just shitting on all of it. Oh, they can use lightning now? That wasn't in the first two movies. Oh, all of a sudden, like, oh, Han can use a lightsaber? Oh, now anybody can use a lightsaber. Like, you didn't have all that gigantic ease of access to the toxic fandom that is Star Wars. But I found it quite funny. Oh, Leia's not going to save the day. This movie's sexist, stuff like that. So, and that kind of does boil down to what is currently happening in Star Wars. Like, if it's not what everybody thinks is absolutely, I mean, you can't tell a story, you can't build up a story, you can't, like, it's got to be episode 1, Obi-Wan versus freaking it's got to be Obi-Wan and the fight that they had to duel the fates with Darth Maul. Like, in any episode 1 of any new series, it's got to live up to that, or it's going to be terrible. You can't have any type of character building, character development. You can't have any type of background, at least according to all of the stuff that I'm seeing online in my TikTok feeds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know. Have you seen the memes that have gone around where they've taken AI and they've put Star Wars, if Star Wars was made in the 50s, what it would look like, or the 60s, and what it would look like?
Yep.
So now I think that's a really cool concept as well. Some of the designs that the AI come up with based on that knowledge of what was there, the props, I guess, as you would, the way the designs were. But again, even in that, you still have, like what you're talking about.
Something just happened. I just lost both of you.
Like you said, can now do this or can now do that when they couldn't do it before. But again, that kind of alludes back to what I was saying about recognizing new Force powers everywhere. If the Force binds you and surrounds you and it can flow through everybody, then why not somebody pick up a lightsaber? A lightsaber is not keyed just to that Jedi's Force powers.
I had randomly set
the
my
Jedi,
phone down, and for some reason you guys disappeared. That was crazy. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you
what just
disappeared.
Happened? Did I? I'm like, what?
You disappeared.
Yeah,
now you're on the far right on my screen.
Now you're on the opposite end.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that was bizarre. I'm like, I looked around all. I looked at chat. No, I'm still online. What's happening right now?
That's what I thought. I'm like, he left.
Yeah. No, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, enough of this. Podcast over.
Yeah. Now this is fundamentally wrong. This is bull. I disagree.
Rage quit.
Continue.
Yeah, rage quit.
I mean, basically what I was just thinking is, like, the Force is, Jedi lightsaber is not just because he uses the Force, he can turn the lightsaber on and off. That's not how it works. It has an activator switch to turn it on and off.
Yeah, like a light
What's
switch.
attuned to the Jedi is the crystals. The Jedi has to tune the crystals to him. That doesn't mean he can't use the lightsaber. Otherwise, Grievous wouldn't have been able to use a lightsaber
Ben.
from all the Jedi that he picked up the lightsabers from. So that's kind of how I look at that. I mean, you can't just say, oh, well, nobody can touch that lightsaber because it's bio-synced to that Jedi.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with anybody else picking up lightsabers and trying to use them. I definitely don't think they should be proficient in using them because they're not trained in them, like Jedis are or Siths are. That's
Right.
not really a problem for me.
No, I think it was just pointing out how
Yeah.
easy it is to jump out. For the Star Wars fans to jump and judge something before.
sure.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
let's face it. When it was when we're 2 episodes deep into, or like when we're watching the Kenobi series and we have 2 separate episodes where we're chasing little Leia around, you start scratching your head of like,
Mhm.
where's this taking me?
Yeah.
And then when you
Slow
watch
build up.
Vader stop the ship, or they fight again, their final fight in the series, oh man, people almost forget about the Leia stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
that was like, oh dude, did you see that? Did you see him throw those rocks? Did you see him cut him open? You hear Hayden talk, and the way I mean, it was great, and I am hopeful that at the end of the series, we're like, you know what? That was off to a slow start, but man, hey, we just got to trust the process, as the Brit would say at work. We got to
Right.
trust the process. And that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely left you look at the cliffhanger that there's potential. That last little
Yeah.
bit with the Sith dude shows up. There's definitely, it's like, oh, well, maybe here we go. Maybe.
Although I used it in the thumbnail, and this is not canon anymore, it does drive me crazy seeing other Jedi use a yellow lightsaber. Canonically speaking, it was, and well, actually no, in Rebels is canon. So even in Rebels, the Coruscant guard and the temple guards were the ones who used. Now these Jedi are from Coruscant. Are they trying to say, if they are, they're all supposed to have it? So I just didn't like the fact that they had yellow. But apparently, homeboy who thought Anakin blew up the Death Star, he was supposed to have an orange one apparently, and then they decided not to do that. So
Wow.
if he's gonna get his own color crystal, just like Mace Windu, he better be
Sam Jackson.
awesome.
Yep.
He better be awesome because Sam Jackson.
I mean, yeah, now they're just handing out colors now too. Like, dang.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I want a silver one.
I like
Right.
Jason. I mean, that it fits. It fits. Jason had a silver one, and well, you go by a different name other than Ivo sometimes.
Right.
But outside of that, I would have to say overall, I enjoyed the episode. It was right up there with my enjoyment of the first and second one. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, no,
I did
didn't
like
hate
how
it.
it picked up the pace a little bit and started to pick a pace up. That was what I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely the best episode out of the 3 so far.
Now my one thought is all but one of the Jedi are now alive, are dead. They're all one with the Force. So they kind of all really had no point up until now. Now their story is going to have to be told in flashback or storytelling. We'll have to, like, the exact reason why. Because it seems to be, as of this exact moment, May's reason for wanting these ones to die, it doesn't seem like they planned it out very well. Like, why they want these 4. We understand that there was something that happened. We understand that there was a fire. But we also watched May be the reason why the fire was started in the first place.
Yes, but in this episode, Soul also alludes to the fact that he will finish telling the story.
Right.
So there alludes to there's more to the story as to what actually happened.
Right. And so but these 4 Jedi have to have done some heinous stuff in order for this girl to be on this kind of warpath.
Yeah, this vendetta to take him out.
Because
Yeah.
up until now, she's the cause for all of it. So why other than them taking her sister away, that's enough to want to kill everybody who ever breathed around your sister.
Yeah.
So that's the part.
Not very strong
that's
motive.
not very strong motive now, or it's gonna show some imperfections of the Jedi, which is why I think the reason why they don't bring it up to the High Council was actually a brilliant move in the storytelling, because in episode 2 and 3 we are shown that, and I do mean the movies, in episode 2 and 3, Clone Wars Phantom Menace, we are shown that there what Naibo
Bye bye now.
yeah, that the Jedi, oh, and now he's just gone.
And he's back.
Let me add him back in here real quick.
Now he's back. He's back. Now you're back in the middle. Nice on the right. It fixed itself.
Yeah, I don't know. All I did was pick up my can.
Yeah, hey, don't touch nothing.
Don't
That's what I
touch
did.
nothing.
I touched my phone. So what was shown was the Jedi in the 2 movies, they picked self-preservation over the truth. And in this instance, they're doing the same. They don't want to have the council to know, the High Council to know, word get out that this has happened, much like they didn't want the word to get out that they had problems using the Force and the dark side was clouding it. So I thought that was actually pretty well done.
It shows they're not perfect.
I do see this definitely as like taking a look at it from while most of the focus has been on, we see the Jedi characters, we see Osha, and we see things kind of from her perspective. But I also can see how this is taken from the perspective of May, and this is actually her storytelling, not the Jedi storytelling. And it's coming from, like, if just for example, like the fan film out there, Troops, where it's from the side of the stormtroopers, and they're like an episode of cops running around out there, and this is how certain things happen. So that's kind of how I see this is actually like from the perspective of, for lack of a better term, the evil side or the dark side, and showing it that direction, that the Jedi are actually bad, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes perfect sense to me. With that being said, I actually haven't looked at any new game news. I do know that the Nintendo thing happened today. They announced
I was
new
going to say
Mario.
Nintendo had some nuts. Yeah, they had a couple Mario
They had
games.
a
They're bringing
Mario,
back
Luigi, weird kind of
Donkey
gameplay.
Kong Country's getting remastered, remade, and then they got a new Zelda game from the point of view of Zelda this time, not Link. So you get to play as the princess chick.
Hashtag woke.
Yep.
Now you did say something, Dubs, that something Marvel versus Capcom was coming free to something.
Yeah, that was also supposed to be on the Switch. That was part of the Nintendo stuff. There's going to be a Marvel Capcom bundle where you get that and the first one, second one, all the fighters basically.
Which is cool. Anything's free. Yeah, I like free, right?
Yep.
There's supposed to be a Jurassic Park survival game.
That not Ark?
Not Ark.
Yeah, right.
No, it's actually labeled as Jurassic Park. And basically it's when during the evacuation. Yeah, basically I don't know what else in it, but it's during the evacuation that somebody gets left behind, and that's who you play. You're running around on the island trying to
survive.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Ark, there's a couple new things. I thought there's this thing called Club Ark, and I thought when you clicked it, it just showed the cluster server, so the servers that are connected to your server. Apparently, it's one of 2 different things. Apparently, it's more like it's a mod that you can install on your server side, and it's just like a hangout area with like gambling and whatnot. So I thought, I'm like, oh, interesting, but like
gambling, you say? You have me intrigued, sir.
And so I don't know much about it because I did just kind of quickly look at it, and then there's something else that was added into it as well. and I could be mixing it up. It could be the exact same thing. And I forget the name of it. Also, somebody in Discord linked me. Let me pull it up here. It's called Tarsland, and it turns Ark into an MMORPG.
Oh, damn.
Where like the bosses turn into like proper raids and stuff like that. I know nothing about it, and again, it's a mod that you'd have to install on the server, which then would wipe the progress of people who's playing it. It was just something interesting that someone had passed my way.
That'd be cool to check out.
Speaking of something cool to check out, I do believe I'm gonna try for Saturday if you boys are available Saturday. You guys gonna be available Saturday night?
Yeah, should be. I ain't got shit going on.
And I gave the half.
Sorry for cussing.
I should
Family
be.
friendly.
Yeah, family friendly. Sorry for cussing. I am working on that, people. I'm sorry.
You should be what, Nye?
I should be available.
Okay, because
unless somebody makes plans for me.
I alluded it into the Discord this morning, and I'm only gonna give a tease again for people who are in chat, and there are people who are in chat. There is an event that we're gonna be partaking on Saturday. Dubs knows about it because Dubs is the one who kind of spearheaded the idea, and then we kind of talked about it at work. And we're not going to say anything more about it other than that. Other than if you like gambling,
it's going to be fun.
There's going to be some gambling. So for this Saturday, everyone is invited to join up, and we're going to have to do some type of cheap entry fee. And, we'll do a winner takes all kind of deal. So I'm thinking something super easy, like for the very first go, 10 metal ingots. And then
some resource. Yep.
And then I will give away to depending on who wins, they're gonna get all of that. Whoever shows up, they're gonna get a bunch of metal ingots and a bread RG by me. So it's gonna be like it's a max level 150 bread RG as giveaway for the first one. And that's all we're going to talk about on that one. But it should be fun. Yep. It should be a lot of laughs. We should be able to get some good clips and post it on YouTube. And we're going to be starting a clips channel for this channel. So anything that, that's good, that's funny, that happens, either the podcast, yada, 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 that's all going to be posted on there. As well as, start looking for a little bit more YouTube shorts of me publishing some actual trap guides on how to build some easy traps, trap rexes, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It is going to be a fun event.
Let me type this into chat here. Outside of that, maybe I'll even throw some whatever is a hard thing to find, oil or something. That is it for me on this particular podcast. Boys, if you have anything else you guys want to cover.
Nope, that's good for me.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment.
By the way,
I'm sure after we end.
This particular podcast was officially sponsored by Sapal's Egg Rolls Incorporated. If you want hot, delicious egg rolls in your mouth, they ship nationwide as long as it's within the town and my town, and you come pick them up.
Very nice, very nice.
Well, that even leaves me out.
They're 5 egg rolls for 10 or 8 egg rolls for 20.
Yeah. Perfect math.
But for anybody because I do have random people who do join this stream who do live near me, they have regular, which is going to be your more traditional style of egg roll that you'd get at any type of Asian restaurant, filled with beef. You also have some less, I would more call them boutique or less common. There's a chicken and chili one, which is pretty good. I do recommend having a side of salsa or something with it. And the Philly cheesesteak one is pretty great. The night that you brought me them over, Doug, I ate a couple, put put them in the fridge, and the Brit's like, "Oh, you didn't." I'm like, "I ain't giving you none of those. Get out of here." So I had them for lunch that day, and they're
Nice.
good. They're very good. And then there's a crab ragu one or whatever, it's a ragoon, and then they also sell some sour candy, which depending on your level of tolerance of sour, you may or may not like, and depending on the quantity of cavities you have, you may or may not like. As we're finding out, there's a lot of people at work that have a bunch of cavities, apparently. I'm like, what? Why are you eating that if your freaking mouth is full of cavities?
Right. Don't be eating junk food all day.
Yeah, I don't know. Good luck on Arc tonight, man. I gots to go. Oh, good. I made it. We just got power back. Hey, Emma Adams just got power back. For those of you who are in the stream, we're getting ready to shut this down here. There's going to be about a 5 to 10 minute break. Give me enough time to finish eating dinner here, get something to drink. And then I will be jumping back onto Arc for just a little bit, for probably about an hour or so. Just to kind of, to get a stream under the belt of Arc. And I got to start. It's going to be just me getting resources, chatting with you guys, and trying to make some cryopods. But
Yeah, I'll probably hop on as well and just gather up some resources for my little base.
speaking
upgrade.
of which, speaking of hopping on, hold on here. There again was some other issue with the server for Pal World. So let me see if they wrote me back here. They also did, oddly, and I don't think they were supposed to have released it yet, but you can now rent the Xbox servers, although you weren't supposed to until... What happened? Nye, what are you fiddling with over there?
Sorry, that's me.
Oh, what are you fiddling with?
The stupid cube.
Oh, okay. I thought Nye was building a freaking... thought Nye was playing with a Rubik's Cube. Is that what
That's
you got,
kind of what
Doug?
it is. Yeah, it's one of
Okay.
these. Like, it changes into crazy shapes, and now I'm
No,
trying to get it back.
This
into
is
a
what
cube.
Nye does when we're streaming. He
I'm a
builds
fidgeter.
Thanos.
Hell yeah, that's sweet.
I don't have anything in my hands, so. But with that
One of
being
these kids
said,
is not like the others.
that's right. With that being said, that there is Dubs as always, and he's frozen on my screen.
I gotta say he's frozen.
And that is Nye. That's a good picture of Dubs, though. We do like it.
Yep, that is a good picture.
And I am always, as normal, I am Chalk. And we will catch you guys next time. I will be popping open an Xbox party here soon. And there. See you later, Dubs. It's been fun. He said, I heard Arc.
Right?
Hey, wouldn't be a podcast
A first.
without the problems here. So I will be opening up a chat here shortly for Xbox, and that will do it for me, chat. Catch you guys later.